Why'd you bring jetpacks?
If we survive this, I'm gonna kill you!
I accept those terms.
Hello people, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we will attempt to decipher what went so wrong between two long-term besties that they went from being partners in crime to arch enemies. Yep, we are talking about Optimus Prime and Megatron. In most Transformers continuities, we have seen these guys as sworn enemies, but their history takes a different tone in the IDW comics, which sometimes delves into Optimus and Megatron's past as former buddies. The upcoming animated movie Transformers 1 taps into the aspect of Optimus and Megatron's history and promises to shed light on their origins, camaraderie, and eventual fallout. Set eons into the past from the Michael Bay Transformers films, this new addition to the franchise comes with a brand new storyline and portrays Optimus and Megatron as young robots who are just starting out their careers on their home planet Cybertron and are yet to rise through the ranks to become the legendary warriors of the future. With Transformers 1 set to release in September, we are here to explore the possible reasons behind Optimus and Megatron's fallout. Let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Worthy. Take these and accept.
Tracing the origins of Orion Pax and D16, the makers of Transformers 1 have made it amply clear that one doesn't have to be a Transformers aficionado to enjoy this movie. This actioner is as dedicated to its remaining fans as it is to newcomers. Thus, the premise is really simple, says director Josh Cooley. Before Optimus became a Prime and the leader of the Autobots, he was Orion Pax, a working-class robot operating in the subterranean realms of Cybertron. Same with Megatron. Before his villainous transition into the Deception boss, he too was a lowly work robot on his home planet. They are from the same generation and eventually become colleagues and friends. This is somewhat a reflection of the Transformers Prime series storyline, where Orion Pax was an archivist who bumped into the warrior robot Megatron and bonded over their shared dream of an egalitarian Cybertron, where equality prevails among all bots and hierarchy is abolished. However, the two bots had very different approaches to solving the hierarchy issue. While Megatron naturally gravitated towards violence, Orion opted for a peaceful route. These ideological differences resulted in two separate factions, pitting Optimus and Megatron against each other and leading to the Great War on Cybertron that made the planet uninhabitable. Transformers 1 follows a similar thematic approach, with Josh Cooley further confirming that a major event on their home planet fans the rift between Orion Pax and D16. With that premise in mind, let's delve a little into the trailer and jot down a few points. When we first meet Orion Pax and D16, this constantly bickering duo was being schooled by a senior bot Darkwing before they were assigned to the waste management department of wherever they were working. As per their own admission, Orion and D16 are mere work bots at this point, who cannot even transform into alternate modes. Their duties include loading cargo on a train and making repairs, while also tending to their waste management duties. But it seems Orion Pax is the more rebellious of the two and can sniff out adventurers in the most unlikely of places. Having worked underground probably all his life, Orion Pax hatches a plan to take a trip to the forbidden surface world and ropes in D16 for this ambitious adventure. In contrast to how we are used to seeing Megatron, D16 comes across as an apprehensive chap who is wary of the surface threats and constantly fears about the repercussions of rule breaking. If we survive this, I'm gonna kill you, D16 tells Orion Pax in the trailer, completely unaware that this joke will in fact one day come true. After venturing onto the surface, it appears that the troublemaker duo witnessed some massive, planet-destroying threats, probably in the form of the alien invaders, Quintessence, and manage to evade an assault by escaping the scene of the crime. They eventually decipher a cave, which is speculated to be a graveyard of the original 13 Transformers created by the deity Primus. There, Orion Pax and D16 chance upon an ancient bot, an original member of the 13, named Alpha Trion, who passes on the legendary transformation cogs to the workbots. This newfound power enables Orion Pax and D16 to transform into their upgraded warrior modes, making the first step towards becoming the benevolent Optimus Prime and the formidable Megatron. How Orion Pax and D16 become arch enemies. Early signs. Orion and D16's friendship is central to the storyline of Transformers 1. They really are friends, like family, as is seen in the trailer, who learn to unleash their full potential together. However, glimpses of their contrasting nature are pretty evident in the trailer itself. In the Cave of Mysteries, Orion Pax and D16 came across the relics of ancient Transformers, presumably members of the original 13. While Orion Pax stands beside the remains of a spiritually gifted Transformer who appears to be Onyx Prime, D16 takes a keen interest in Megatronus, the corrupt Prime who became the Fallen. This Megatronus is said to be the progenitor of the evil Deceptions, and seems to be the one who inspires D16 to tap into his dark side. Furthermore, it is known that Optimus has been a disciple of the Sentinel Prime, and the trailer suggests that Orion Pax, in some capacity, will also be trained by Alpha Trion. Orion and D16 gain their powers together, and probably even fight alongside each other to protect their home planet, but all the while harboring contrasting motives in their hearts. Their bond was so real that in a story arc of Transformers Volume 5, Megatron has a literal breakdown after Optimus Prime is killed. In a separate continuity of the T-Axis storyline, Optimus Prime rues over his lost friendship with Megatron. Occasionally, Optimus and Megatron set aside their differences to fight a common threat, such as defeating Sentinel Prime in Transformers The Dark of the Moon, and saving Earth from getting drilled up by a rogue bot. Ideological differences. Having served as labor class bots, D16 and Orion clearly want to break through the class divide in Transformers 1, but through conflicting battle plans, showing a difference in their ideologies. In an interview, Cooley explained that there is a hierarchy on this planet that our characters are not at the top of, which is what people would anticipate them to be. Optimus Prime is the #1 guy, but this is an origin story, so he has to earn that. Same thing with Megatron as D16. They're in this pecking order, and we get to see why. Now, let's see how their different ideals can possibly lead to a crack in their friendship. In the IDW comics, Megatron is depicted as a character who is involved in his planet's politics and hierarchy. He strongly believes that by taking a peaceful approach, the authorities are not expanding Cybertron's territories enough. This eventually leads him to create the Deception faction and take matters into his own hands. Meanwhile, Optimus Prime prefers diplomacy over force and violence, and thus he and his Autobots stand in the way of Megatron's violent methods. This, in fact, has also been explored in the Transformers Prime storylines. Megatron and Optimus both approach the High Council, demanding that the class divide be abolished. Megatron proposes to do it through violence, while Optimus suggested peaceful measures. When the council signed off on Optimus' plans, Megatron turned to his crafty ways. A defining event. One thing we can surmise is that a significant event on Cybertron changes the course of Orion and D16's friendship, and it may have something to do with the Quintessence. These tentacled alien creatures seem like the real baddies of Transformers 1, and we are to hypothetically join the dots. It appears that the Quintessence have taken over Cybertron in the Transformers 1 storyline. We say this because A, they have a threatening presence on the surface, B, they have armies of menacing creatures lined up for dispatch, and C, a quintessent leader tortures Sentinel Prime in the trailer, which is only possible when they have established themselves as the ruling species. Also, if you look closely, one can notice the empty cog chambers in the robots' chests, suggesting that the quintessence may have stolen these power sources from the Cybertronians and stripped them of their ability to naturally switch between modes. In addition, the quintessence may have forced the natives underground in order to reign supreme on the surface above. Eventually, the Cybertronians would rebel against these tyrannical quintessence. Sometime during this, Orion Pax and D16 would possibly part ways owing to their contrasting battle strategies, or simply because D16 wanted to keep all the rescued resources to himself, while Orion Pax wanted to share them with the rest of the bots. Well, this is only a hypothetical prediction, and we don't know the real deal yet. But what we know is that the director described the fallout as a natural split between the two bots, and also said that it is going to be a little bit tragic. Power struggle. From the trailer, it's easy to fathom that Orion Pax is a rule breaker who comes up with the rebellious ideas, and D16 is forced to follow in his footsteps. When D16 receives the energy cog and discovers a newfound range of powers, he naturally steps out of Orion Pax's shadow. This new range of powers grants D16 a sense of confidence and converts the former skeptic into a leader, which may not go down too well with Orion Pax, who is used to calling the shots in the pack. This power struggle may also lead to a rift between the friends, who eventually formulate separate plans to secure the future of Cybertron. Alternatively, the discovery of the new technologies such as an infinite power source or an artifact could also spark a power struggle, as D16 might want it all to himself and Orion will fight to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. Philosophical divide. An alternate theory suggests that following a trip to Cybertron's surface, both Orion Pax and D16 discover that the whole of Cybertron is operating on corruption, and they attempt to rid their home planet of this menace. Considering how naive D16 is in the trailer, he could have been an idealist revolutionary who was so shocked to learn the truth behind Cybertron's enslaved society that it drove him to the point of extremism. In contrast, Orion Pax comes in with his lofty ideas and tries to fix a system from within, eventually clashing with his rogue friend in the process. D16's dark lineage. Throughout the trailer, D16 sports the Decepticon logo on his left arm, and this is even before he discovers the Decepticon insignia inside the cave. This probably suggests that the Decepticons existed in some capacity in the past and were presumably wiped out by the Guardian Primes, with D16 as the only remaining descendant, who was either kept in the dark about his origins or lost his memory by some means. Later, when D16 chances upon the relic of Megatronus inside the cavern and discovers the Decepticon logo that matches his tattoo, he learns about his true lineage and claims his birthright to be the leader of a race, albeit a murderous one. This makes Megatron much more relatable as an antagonist, instead of depicting him as just another megalomaniac who wants to rule the universe. Loss and betrayal. The discovery of D16's true past can lead to a sense of loss and betrayal, forcing him to avenge the death of his Decepticon predecessors. It is at this time that Optimus might come to know that he is the last of the Prime descendants and must carry on the legacy of his forefathers. In such a situation, history would always repeat itself, in the sense that when Megatron's Prime, one of the original ones, went mad with ambition, he abandoned his creator Primus and joined forces with the planet-devouring villain Unicron. Megatronus thus came to be known as the Fallen, who was stripped of his Prime moniker. The remaining Primes then fought against him and concealed the matrix of leadership away from his reach. Thus, in a situation where D16 turns into Megatron and revives the Fallen's plans, Orion Pax must stop him in his tracks, just like his predecessors did with the Fallen.
Don't you want to see what's out there?
Marvelous verdict. All said and done, Orion Pax and D16's camaraderie is guaranteed to take a dark turn by the end of Transformers 1. In fact, D16's transformation into Megatron is already in motion as we speak. The trailer teases a glimpse of this transformation when D16 gets his infamous fusion cannon for the first time and his eyes start glowing in a menacing red. What are your inputs on this complicated friendship that led to the Great Cybertronian War? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you liked our video, stay tuned for more Transformers theories and character explorations. See you super soon! Thanks everyone!